Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss Pre-Market Report for Friday, June 1st, 2018. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Happy Friday, and also welcome to the first trading day of the month of June. I will be hosting a monthly market outlook tonight, rather after the market closes at 3:30 p.m. Central Time. So meet me at 3:30 p.m. and this is CT. And then this is also going to be, the meeting is going to be join.me/PivotBoss. And so PivotBoss is going to be the code there. If you have a Join Me app, then you can just use PivotBoss the code and that'll get you in. If you want to go to the web link and use a browser, Chrome or Firefox works best. HTTPS you can add to the front of that, but it really doesn't need it. It'll take you right to the meeting. 3:30 p.m. We'll be talking about futures. Direction for the next month. We'll also be live scanning for stock opportunities as well. So I'll take requests. We'll go about 45 minutes or an hour and kind of kick off the weekend that way, heading into the new month of trading. So please join me later on this afternoon, 3:30 p.m. Central Time, join.me/PivotBoss. Okay, let's take a look here at the ES right now. For the most part, the ES continues to coil up, continues to honor the 2703.75 level. We have a series of inside days. So this is very, very rare, but tends to happen just before we see some major volatility. You see this day right here, that's the day's range. The next day was inside that range. The day after that was also inside. And now right at this very moment, we are also currently inside those. I usually call this a double inside day. This is a triple if today finishes this way. Now this is very, very rare to see it finish that way. Instead, what usually happens is we get a major breakout. Now from this pattern, there tends to be a false breakout before the original breakout occurs, or the intended breakout. So if we were to break down first, it's not unlikely to see this thing rally back and then start to break to the upside. So keep in mind that the first breakout could be false. This thing continues to trend up quietly, but it's mostly just flat and sideways. And before you see that, before you see something that happens, you usually see this thing get pinched, and then eventually you'll see a major market move one way or another, and that could set the tone for the next couple of weeks with pullback opportunities as the price continues toward a target. So again, on the upside, 2800 to 2830 is a good target. On the downside, 2600 to 2575 are good targets. But right now we got to wait to see which way direction takes us. All right, let's take a look now at the NQ. Very similar price action, but this one has more of an upward slope. And with this one, it's sitting right below the 70.40s. 70.47 quarter is the top of this key range. Remember, we were above that zone right here for a whole week before finally giving it up and coming back down the way. So it was a very good move after that failure. Are we going to see a similar type of behavior? Right now we're clearly trending up. We've coiled up significantly. I mean, when everyone sees it coming, that makes you nervous, but at the same time, this usually breaks to the upside. And upon that breakout, if there's any significant rejection, then secondarily I would switch to the secondary option, which is perhaps we go down toward 66.53 as the next downside target. But for right now, if prices can push through that 70.40 zone, 70.47, it opens up at least another 100 handles, 200 handles up to 72s, maybe even as high as 73s as price attempts to hold above 7200. So there could be 200 to 300 points of upside behavior here once this thing unravels, and half of it could be done in one day. I mean, it could be really big. Again, any failure above that zone likely opens up a return back to this area right here. So we got a couple of major downside targets should a failure start to develop. All right, let's take a look now at crude oil. Here's crude. Crude is on the verge of failing on this pattern here. It's very, very close to failing. It's right in the zone. If you recall, the 6620s to 6650 zone was kind of the zone that needed to hold in order for this pattern to start to work out. The previous session we got a deeper pullback than expected after it broke down below the 6750s. This thing got back to within striking distance of the previous low. Didn't quite take it out. Right now, taking out the prior low after an inside day. And again, the most important level right now is this price needs to hold 6620s and start to pop back above the previous low. That would open up the potential to grab that target. But right now it looks like a shakeout is occurring. Usually when you see a shakeout like that, if price stays below the absorption point for too long, you will dip to a new low. So this is at risk of not working out right now if we can't start popping back above previous lows, 6650s, pretty soon. So that's something to keep an eye on right now, as a breakdown is just starting to occur here below S3 on an intraday time frame. So this is getting pretty significant as we speak. If you take a look at gold, right now gold has pulled back a hair also. This one has held above the 1295s, but really hasn't been able to extend to the upside. It held on this pullback, it held on the 1300 and held again yesterday, but the failed new high here turned things downward, and that failed new high now breaking back below 1300, which is important. So at the moment, this is not really finding a whole lot of strength here like it had before, and it's now having to retest 1295. So Bear's doing a good job of continuing to offer prices above 1306s, and so far has not been able to close above that zone, and now we're starting to head back toward 1295, which if that level gives out, we're tumbling to another leg down. So this is getting interesting for gold, the way it has failed to continue and now holding within this 5-day range. You can see it's pink right now, which means that compression is significant compared to average, and usually what follows compression is expansion. So either we're about to do this or we're going to continue that way, and 1295 is going to be very, very important to give us that bias. So we'll continue to watch this as well. Alright, that is it for now. Remember, I'll be hosting that monthly outlook later on this afternoon, 3:30 p.m. Central. I'd love to see you there. If not, I will have it recorded and sent out later on. So looking forward to seeing you all later on today, and have a fantastic rest of your day and a great weekend. Take care, folks.